Real Madrid are Champions League final winners, and we will play them in the Super Cup. But don't worry, I have full confidence that hard-working Fellaini and local lad Lingard will be more than a match for Ronaldo and co. But in all seriousness, let's talk Manchester United. Let's talk Real Madrid to a certain extent, because Gareth Bale has been mentioned quite rigorously over the last 48 hours, and I must say that I'm quite surprised by a lot. I mean, look, people. All I hear is he's injury prone. We've got Phil Jones. All I hear is we don't really want him. We have got Jesse Lingard. So I can't understand why anybody would not want Gareth Bale at Manchester United, regardless of whether it will actually happen or not. What I tweeted earlier, and I would stand by, Real Madrid don't look like a team that really need Gareth Bale at the moment. And maybe need's not the right word. Maybe want to use Gareth Bale. They look like a team that, the team that started and played and won the game tonight. Bale came on towards the end. Rodriguez not even on the bench. Morata on the bench. Bale on the bench. They want to sign Mbappe. They want to sign Hazard. I'm sure they will go and sign big players. They may well sign Aubameyang. They're going to sign players this summer, and I think when you look at it, Gareth Bale may well find himself surplus to requirements. And if that's the case, where's he going to go? That's what I'd always say. If Bale is going to leave Real Madrid, where is he going to go? He's not going to go to PSG. He's British. He is Welsh. He's certainly not going to go to Swansea or Cardiff. So he's probably going to be looking in England. And there's no bigger club than Manchester United who can probably pay the fee that it'd cost, I'd say about £80 million, and his wages as well. If he stays at Real Madrid, he stays at Real Madrid. But I think if he leaves, then he's going to come to Manchester United. And whether people like that or not, I'm obviously a big fan of the man who can't be named, who's now going to stay at the other Madrid club. And I wanted him to come to Manchester United. That looks unlikely. But if you'd asked me, I probably would have always wanted him. But I know a lot of people would have said I would prefer Bale over that. If I had a choice between the two, I'd prefer Bale. Because, well, one thing that Gareth Bale gives... Well, there's numerous things. But what Gareth Bale gives you over the man who can't be named, or Dybala, who was diabolical tonight, diabolical Dybala. I mean, he apparently would cost £100 million, and I thought he was very lightweight, very easy to deal with, and he obviously will get a lot better. But no, in relation to Bale and the man who can't be named, Griezmann, look, one of the concerns about Griezmann was his lack of height, but more his lack of physicality. Would he get bullied in the Premier League? Bale is probably Bale's strongest asset, apart from his pace. He's amazingly fast. He's very good in the air, very, very good in the air. 6 foot and very physical and Premier League proven. Now, I purposely took this down just to give everybody as well, because this he's always injured thing is, and I want to take your questions, so sort of do get commenting, but sort of hold it back for a couple of minutes, because I do want to get your thoughts on Bale before we talk about Rodriguez, Morata and some of the other transfer news today. But I just wanted to say this. Look, a lot of people saying that Bale is injury prone. What would you rather have? Would you rather have Bale for 30 games a season or Perisic for 50? That's what I would say, because whatever happens, we are going to keep Jesse Lingard. We are going to keep Mata and Mkhitaryan. We are going to keep Martial. So even if Bale was injury prone, which I think is a bit of a myth, I'd still rather have Bale for 30 games a season than Perisic, who I do want to come. But if it's Perisic or Bale, then surely we're always going to go with Bale. I don't understand that. But going over through his last 6 seasons, 2 of which were Spurs. 42 games for Spurs 6 seasons ago, 44 games the next season, 44 games in his first season for Real Madrid, 48 games in his second season, 31 games in his third season, and 26 games this season. And this season he has been injured a lot, but it's not really a crying. It's pretty consistent, really. I mean, the last 2 seasons obviously not as good as the others, but still this season he has been very injury prone. But the ones before that, not really. And I don't think you can judge a book by its cover. But look, do I think it happened? I'd be 50-50 about it, to be honest. I think it can happen, and I think watching the game tonight, I sort of think if Real Madrid are looking to make big Galactico signings in the summer, which I think they will, it's just basically a process of subtraction, really. Rodriguez is definitely going to go. Morata is definitely going to go. But they will sign... I think they will sign Mbappe. They will keep Ronaldo. They've got Isco and a couple of others already there. They'll probably... it depends how many they're going to sign. They might just sign Mbappe, in which case they'll probably keep Bale because Mbappe sort of takes the place of Rodriguez, I suppose. But if Madrid sign the players that they're looking to sign, then I think Bale goes. And I think Manchester United would be interested in him. I think what I would like to talk about really is not Gareth Bale's going to sign for Manchester United, because that's ridiculously naive if anyone's going to start chanting that nonsense. I'd say it's a 50-50, but what I think is very, very relevant is the fact that people are like, don't really want him, he's injury prone. Don't really want him as opposed to what? We're not going to get the man who can't be named anymore because he's going to sign a new contract. We probably, Neymar's more out there than Bale. So who else is there that we're going to get that's going to be this sort of person who can play behind the striker and play out wide? There isn't really. I mean, are people saying that they prefer James Rodriguez over Bale? Because that's ridiculous, because Bale's a first-team Real Madrid player and Rodriguez can't even get on their bench and has spent most of the time on the bench. And Bale is infinitely better than Rodriguez, even though I would welcome him at Manchester United. What do you get with Bale? Electric pace, very, very good in the air, very, very strong, very good at running with the ball, very good left foot, and Premier League proven. And to be honest, on his game, he's probably in the top 5 in the world. He's not had a great season, but it was only a year ago in the Euros that he was probably one of the players of the tournament. So, and obviously when you've played all the way, I mean, what I would say about the Euros, pretty much a one-man team as well. So he'd gone through a very good season for Real Madrid into the Euros, very, very long, very successful Euros, not much of a break into this season, and surprise, surprise, he's picked a few injuries up. I would welcome him at Manchester United, but let's see what a few of you have got to say first. Gareth Bale, welcome to Manchester, says Kieran Byrne. I wouldn't go that far. Football 3704. I would like Alexis Sanchez. Richard Stainer says Bale and James would be ideal. Can we have them both? Well, I don't think we'd say no to both of them now. Griezmann's out of the equation. Addy says Dybala is too weak and was bullied all game. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Neymar would be the best signing, says Multi Kevin the King. See, I'm not convinced by that. I suppose you'd have to take Neymar over Bale because of the youth, and he is a slightly better player. But Neymar just strikes me as Mr. We'd get him for 3 years, then he'd go somewhere else to be a brand and a bit of money. He just doesn't. Why would you want to leave Barcelona if you're Neymar? There really isn't much reason why you'd want to leave Barcelona to come to Manchester United, other than money. It doesn't strike me as a deal that could happen. Geezy says, chill. Mourinho will always has a plan B. We may not have Griezmann, but Mourinho has always prepared for such. Okay, you've lost that comment. Went really off the piste. Plateau still. A few people mentioning Neymar, and CJR2113 says Bale has suffered 17 separate injuries during his time in Madrid. 8 of those have been in his calf, 2 on his right and 6 on his left. Interesting. I still don't think that the injury thing is anywhere near relevant enough to not sign him, to be honest. I really don't. Only Aubameyang would save United's transfer summer, says Xing Zhe Ho. And I think what I would take from the game tonight is that why anybody thinks we're signing Varane. I'd love us to sign Varane, but where is that coming from? Why would Real Madrid sell their first choice centre-back and their most steady centre-back? Because let's be honest, Ramos is an accident waiting to happen. I mean, I know the little dive to get the player sent off was distasteful, but he's reckless. Varane is very assured. You don't notice him because he's just a very assured centre-back. And why would they ever let him come to Manchester United? It wouldn't. And why would he want to come to Manchester United? I can't see why. I'm sure we're interested in him, but I can't see why that one would happen. The same with Toni Kroos. I really like him. Very good performance for him in the final. But again, why would he be looking to leave Real Madrid, and why would Real Madrid be looking to let him go? I mean, to be fair, Navas, I can sort of see why they want De Gea. I mean, he made a good couple of saves, but I can sort of see why they'd want him, because I think to be fair, De Gea probably would have saved that Mandzukic shot. It wasn't great positioning by the keeper, and I can sort of see why they want De Gea, because he's the Spanish keeper and it's a Galactico and everything like that. But he ain't that bad. He ain't that bad. But the obvious two that will leave Real Madrid are Rodriguez, who I think would walk to Manchester if we gave him a map. And I also think Morata, his dad has come out today and said that the only offer has come in from Manchester United. So it'd be interesting with that. My feeling with Morata is that he wants to go back to Italy. He was formerly at Juventus, wasn't he? The talk is that he might go to AC Milan. He's a good striker. I don't know what anybody's problem is with him. I think there is a trap that many Manchester United fans are sort of dropping into now, where we're being a bit ahead of ourselves and a bit sort of spoiled. Oh, I don't want Perisic, I don't want Morata. Well, who do you want? Who do you want? I mean, in relation to Morata, of course, I would like Aubameyang, but it doesn't feel like we're gonna do those sort of deals. The names that just keep getting mentioned are not of that ilk. I mean, I think Griezmann was definitely going to be of that ilk, but that seems to have collapsed now. Everyone else we're linked to, Michael Keane, Perisic. They're not, Morata. They're not big sensational signings. They're good signings. They're potentially not exciting signings, but I don't know. Maybe there's a big shock in there, but I'm slightly not disappointed because everyone's got an opinion, but I'm quite surprised about. We don't want Bale, and I'm looking at the live comments, and I can't see what people are sort of offering. Well, we don't want Bale. Well, who do we want? Because we're not getting Griezmann by the looks of it. So you don't want Bale. Who do you want? And don't chuck Neymar at me, because I really do think. I'm not saying it can't happen, but I think realistically, is it going to happen? Are we really going to start thinking that we're going to get Neymar? Because it'd be 200 million straight away. If we sign him, we're going to sign many other players this summer. I think Bale would be a good signing, and I understand the injury problem, but he's not even 28. He's 27. He's 28 in July. Next month. Benzema or Aubameyang, says Ranuk, who's made a contribution. I'm not impressed by Benzema. I don't know why people are. I think he's hard working, but he doesn't ever really excite me, and he doesn't score that many goals. For the number 9. He's a hard working number 9, but I don't necessarily think he'd come to the Premier League and score 40 goals. He doesn't strike me as that sort of striker. A lot of United fans interested in Alexis Sanchez. If there's any Arsenal fans watching, sort of laughing about that, yeah, we probably won't do it, but why not? Pogboom says Mbappe. Could we get Mbappe if Real Madrid wants him? I mean, to be honest, if you want Mbappe over Bale, I can see that argument. I can. I think Mbappe is going to be a very, very good player, which is probably why Real Madrid want him. But you can't just say no to Bale and not offer something up. You don't want Bale and we'll just stick with Lingard, or you don't want Bale because you've got a genuinely good, better alternative. That's sort of my argument. I appreciate the injury thing, but if you take the injury thing out of it, which is not set in stone, you're getting somebody who's Premier League proven, quicker than most players in world football, very good in the air, very skillful, got a great shot on him, can play anywhere in the front 4 positions, massively experienced, one of the best players in the world on his game. Why would you not want that? Why would you not want that? I mean, I look around the current team and I don't really see anybody. You look at our team at the moment in an attacking sense, we haven't got anybody like that. You've got a declining Rooney, an injured Zlatan, a young Rashford, a lacking confident Martial, and Mkhitaryan and Mata and Lingard. They're just not those sort of players. They're not players who can one-man team it. So I'm quite surprised that people wouldn't want him. And that is the conversation. I'm not saying we're signing him. It's 50-50 at best. Craig McCullough Games has made a contribution. He says, Mark, what would you say if United went for Griezmann in January after the transfer ban is over? It's a very good question. That's why I've just suddenly gone a bit quiet. Well, no, to be honest, I'm sure in 6 months' time I'll be like, yeah, let's sign him. But it's the impatience of it, isn't it? We wanted him now. The opportunity is now. Why should we wait? Why should Manchester United wait for an Atletico Madrid player? And I know that sounds ridiculously arrogant, but why should we wait? Why should we wait? We've got an important season coming up. This is the season that Mourinho always wins the title, his second season. We're back in the Champions League. It's going to be competitive for top 4 again. Spurs aren't going anywhere. City are spending a load of money. Chelsea are the champions. That's 3. Us, 4. But then you've got Liverpool, who knows what they'll do, and Arsenal, who will be desperate to get back in. So there's 6 going for 4. Why would Manchester United wait for Griezmann in January or even next summer? Why would we do that? Why would we put that plan back? We shouldn't do it. We're Manchester United. If he said no, then if in a couple of years' time there becomes an opportunity because of whatever reason, then maybe. But we certainly shouldn't be thinking, we'll wait for you for a year. We should be moving on and going, right, well, we can't get him. What can we get that's around that sort of calibre player? And that will be our choice now for the next 3 or 4 years. That's how I feel about it. I certainly don't want us to be waiting. A few of you saying no Bale, but you're not really giving any alternatives. So I'm not being dismissive, but it sounds very petulant. It sounds very, I don't want Bale. But you're happy to stick with Lingard and out of form Martial and Mata and Mkhitaryan? Or would you want Gareth Bale? Or have you got somebody better in mind? I mean, I like Martial, I like Mata and I like Mkhitaryan, but they're not Gareth Bale. James is not Gareth Bale either, but I would welcome him at Manchester United. It doesn't seem to be what Mourinho wants with James Rodriguez. I'll tell you what, if we sign him, we'll be doing t-shirts, United stand, one double left foot with his face on it. But I do like him. But it doesn't seem to me to be Mourinho's sort of signing. I've been saying that for weeks. And maybe with no Griezmann it might be, but I couldn't really see where he was going to fit in. Ola says United need a striker that can score goals. I'll tell you now, Morata would probably score 30 goals in the Premier League. I don't know why people aren't hot on him. He's in his early 20s. He's played in Juventus. He's played for Juventus, played for Real Madrid. Mourinho actually blooded him at Real Madrid and gave him a chance. Mourinho really likes him. And he's one of those strikers that is an absolute all-rounder. He's quick without being super fast. He's good in the air. He's good at holding the ball up. He's good in the box. He's probably like an 8 out of 10 in everything, whilst never being 9 or 10 like the top players are. But I think that sort of player might be quite useful to Manchester United, and if he's surplus to requirements, you might get him for 40 million. The thing is, I was talking to Drawty about this morning. We had a decent long chat, and we were on about Manchester United and how much money Manchester United generate, and how if Manchester United had stayed as a PLC and not become privately owned by the Glazers, we would probably have won the Premier League every year for the last however many years it's been, and we'd probably have a couple of European Cups as well, because the money Manchester United generate is absolutely obscene. And if you had a PLC where it was all, the money was, they're just a cash-rich club, what they make basically comes back out. With the Glazers, we make a lot of money, but obviously they bought us off debt. They take a lot of money out because it's a business, and the money they free up for transfers will be a set amount. If Manchester United was run as like a PLC or by the fans or whatever, there'd be a hell of a bigger transfer pot. And we make a lot of money, so we would go out and spend, or could go and spend 600 million this summer or 500 million, and people would be, our rivals would be going mad. Oh, you're a money club. But the thing that Manchester United, if we spend 600 million, we make 3 or 4 times that, and it all comes in through generation of the Manchester United brand. Fans, sponsors, they all want a piece of Manchester United. So we won't spend a lot of money this summer. We won't, because the Glazers and Woodward, they run it as a business and they've got profits to make, and they will go, right, you've got hopefully 300, maybe 200 million. And it's not going to go a long way when we probably need 4, 5, 6 players. So Morata might suit because he's 40 million, whereas Belotti, Lukaku, Aubameyang are double that. You have to take that into account, that look, we are Manchester United and we do make a lot of money, but we must never lose sight of the fact that we are a business. Unfortunately, we are owned by people who bought us off debt, service that we are still in debt, and they want profits. So we're never going to go and spend ridiculous amounts of money. There will be a budget. Titus08 says, why are you ignoring the Isco comments? We're not signing Isco. We're not signing Isco. I don't know where anybody thinks we're signing Isco. Watch 2 months' time, we'll be signing Isco. We're not signing Isco. I mean, you saw him in the game tonight. They're chanting his name. The Real Madrid fans actually like him. I mean, they still boo Ronaldo. They actually like Isco. Zidane clearly likes him. He's not going to go anywhere. He's probably working his way to be a first-team player for them. We're not signing Isco. He is brilliant. He's a very good player, but we're not signing him, so why would I talk about him? Mr. Cute says, Mark, we don't need Bale. He's not as good as before. Oh, I'll move to the next comment. I mean, so you're happy with what we've got at the moment, and you don't think Gareth Bale takes us up to the next level? Dear me. Expectations are deluded tonight. Just seen someone compare Januzaj to Bale. Well, apparently Januzaj's going. That's something I wanted to bring in. Apparently Januzaj is going. It isn't definite because where it's being reported is a bit weak. But I'd be quite happy about that. I don't know what you think. I want Januzaj gone. I think Januzaj, unfortunately, for him, it's nothing personal, but he epitomises exactly what the problem with our squad is at the moment. Too many below average players that have had their chance. I mean, look at Januzaj. People forget this. Under Van Gaal, in the 2 seasons Van Gaal was there, he played 4 games in a row in both seasons in the first team and was not very good. He scored a scrappy goal against Villa in 1 game. Not very good. Went to Dortmund, they sent him back. Went to Sunderland, and apart from a couple of decent performances, was pretty average. People think he should come back to Manchester United and be given a chance. Nah. And I guarantee Mourinho will think the same. So he needs to go 100%. Fabinho, I said last night, Fabinho is the signing I think that will put a smile on our face. I'm going to keep my gob shut. Apparently Juventus want him now. Hopefully he saw Juventus tonight though and thought, you know what, I might not go there. Because Juventus are a very good team, but when they don't defend well, they're not. I mean, people go on about spending 90 million on Pogba. They spent 80 million, did they? Or 70 million on Higuain? I've never been impressed by him. Mandzukic scored a great goal tonight, but he was atrocious, and they play him on the left. I'll tell you what Juventus miss. Juventus miss a really good midfielder that can run with the ball and dominate a midfield. We've got one of them, haven't we? Paul Pogba. Where did we sign him from? Anyway, but no, look, I'd like us to sign Fabinho, but nothing's guaranteed this summer. I think if you build your hopes up too much, you're going to get disappointed. It is only the start of June. What do you think Bale will bring us? And I'm from Wales, says Mogsy21. If Bale signs for United, I understand what everyone's concern is about injuries. But if Bale comes to United, I think it'd be a revelation. I think it'd be suddenly our best player. We lack somebody in the attacking sense of our team at the moment that really is a star that we can sort of rely on. As for the things I've said there, he's got a great left foot. He's not got a wonderful left foot. He's got a great left foot. He's very good in the air. He's amazingly fast. He's used to taking on the pressure as being a one-man team because Spurs, when he was there, were very much a one-man team. He's got bags of experience. I mean, if you compare him to Griezmann, and I would still take Griezmann over Bale because I just like Griezmann, but actually, those who want to say Bale's better than Griezmann, you're probably right. Look, when you compare the two, Bale is more powerful, he is quicker, he's got a better shot, he's better at running with the ball, he's Premier League proven, and he's a winner. You look at Griezmann's cabinet and you look at Bale's cabinet, he has won things and he knows how to win things and he's got experience of winning things. The Champions League final, the one against Atletico Madrid where it looked like they were going to win, and wasn't it Bale who got the winners? Scored a header, I think, as well. I mean, he has got the experience of it. But look, this deal's 50-50. The whole point about... I'm not saying Bale's coming to United. The whole point of this video tonight was sort of to delve into why so many United fans don't actually want him. That's the thing that sort of surprises me. But there we go. I mean, will Real Madrid get Eden Hazard? I'm not convinced that they will. I think Hazard might stay at Chelsea. Prince Sharma says James or Bale would be really good. Bale could be used as a number 9, says Sandy, which he could. Mr. Cute says, what is holding Perisic from signing for us? I think it's all about to do with the fee, to be honest. I think things will start to happen over the next couple of weeks. There's still some internationals to be played, which end around the middle of June. But I think anyone who's on international duty, it's going to be hard to get a deal done. I expect things to start kicking off, but it's still very, very early days, isn't it? It's still really early days for Manchester United and everybody else. And the only deal that's really been done is the Manchester City one for Bernardo Silva. Can we get Hazard? No. That's from Abdullah. No, we can't, Abdullah. Mark, do you think Bale could play the number 10 position and play Perisic on the right wing? No, because he's left-footed. Perisic, he plays on the left. I mean, you could put him on the right, but I think he'd play on the left. There's reports that... I mean, this is ridiculous. Shaka also says, there are reports saying that Diego Costa is very close to rejoining Atletico Madrid once the ban expires. Could this mean Griezmann to United could still be on, but a low chance? But go back to what I was saying a few minutes ago. Why should we wait? Why should we wait? We're Manchester United. I don't want Manchester United to be waiting for any sort of deal. I really don't. And the funny thing is, just to throw something in about Bale, if you go and I was looking at, what was I looking at the other day? I think it was transfermarket.com, because I needed to check when Fabinho's contract was up with Monaco. And while I was on there, I whacked in Gareth Bale because I wanted to see how many games he'd actually played this year. And down the right, when you're looking at a certain player, it's got this thing down the right where it will say similar players of that style. And the 3 players that are similar to Gareth Bale, Eden Hazard, Neymar and Griezmann. So if you're not getting Griezmann, looking at those 3, even computer says, you know. Quite a few of you watching tonight. Remember, if you are new to the United Stand, subscribe to the channel. We've got hopefully something really exciting to do next Saturday night if we get to 100,000 subscribers. It's a bit of an ask, but we are closing in on it. So if you are new, fantastic community on the United Stand. Remember to hit that subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner. We are a live content channel, so make sure that you are subscribed so you get notified when we're live, and hit that bell. Tomorrow as well, I must just remind everybody while we've got everyone watching, 2:30 UK time is Carrick's testimonial. Carrick's 11, which is basically the 08 Champions League winning side against All Stars. We are doing a watch along for it. We'll probably go live about 2 o'clock, half an hour before, and then we'll be all the way through till full time. So I think it'd be good. Seeing people like Scholes, Vidic and Ferdinand, Evra, Rooney will play. So be looking forward to that. Thanks, Evil Duck. I didn't realise we had a mod tonight, and Beck. I'd happily accept Bale, Premier League proven, and bring in Icardi. He's young and very exciting to watch, says Chris Bauman. I mean, I don't think United are in for Dybala, by the way, and I know it's only one game, and he is a good player, but he was one of the worst players on the pitch tonight, wasn't he? You'd worry about him if somebody was interested in him. I can understand why he wants to go La Liga, because he probably only have to play 5 or 6 difficult games a season, and the rest of the time it's against pub teams, and you can stat pad. I think in the Premier League you'd find it a bit difficult. Kaysen Gomez says Lindelof. Look, I'm not saying Lindelof. Mad Marcus, where's the comment? And I'll answer it. I can't see that comment. Lindelof, I wouldn't say Lindelof can't happen, but I wouldn't believe the Portuguese press, is what I said last night, and I'd back that up. It doesn't mean it's not going to happen, but they cry wolf so many times that you just don't believe them. And Paul Cooper's asking about that as well. Oh, God, I can see true NCFC gamer saying, Marcus, can you ask him to answer my comment on Griezmann? Well, where is it? Where is your comment? Emil Heskey for 90 minutes. No. Perisic is right-footed, says Raphael UDX. No, he's not. Do your homework. He's two-footed, and he plays on the left for Inter. Olatunde Cooper. Perisic is right-footed. Mark just has a very good left foot. He's two-footed. Lacazette is world-class. No, he's not. No rushing the transfers just yet. Jose will get it right in the end, says Nathan Bertram. Yeah, we can't judge this till August. It's very early days. I think what will enhance people's frustration is when targets we like start to disappear. So I think the Silva thing annoyed people because a lot of people liked Silva. He's a good player. If City get Mendy done, a lot of people like Mendy. Although there is a left back I'd like to talk about on a future show that I think we might go for. I cannot see this question that I'm meant to be answering, but Richard Stainer says, give Pereira a chance, get Griezmann in January if needed. Look, Richard, in an ideal world, in a fantasy house with licorice roads and lollipop trees, Pereira plays, but this is Jose Mourinho, and I know he played all the kids in a meaningless game against Palace, but as I've said so many times, Fosu Mensah was ready this season. He played less than 20 minutes in the Premier League before the last game of the season. He is not going to play He's not going to play Pereira, and from the start of the season, he's just not going to do it. He wants to win the title, and that's not going to happen. He will sign somebody, and I totally believe that. Jason Bowditch, would you swap De Gea for Bale, considering De Gea will be off in the next 2 years? Strike while the iron's hot. I think that's a really good question from Jason. I would swap De Gea for Bale. He waits for the comments to come flying in. I would swap De Gea for Bale because you can replace a goalkeeper, but there aren't many. Look, if you go along the line that I have, that Griezmann was the player we were going to sign, and we've just been totally and utterly screwed over. We need to get somebody in to play that position, and they need to be as less of a risk as possible, and they need to be top class. And there's not a lot of players of that ilk round there, so I can understand if we are linked to Bale why we are after him. Now, the fee is important. What would Real Madrid want? Would they want 100 million? Get lost. If you want 80 million, if you want to just do a straight swap for De Gea, then I would do it. But I don't think Madrid would let that happen. But I would do it. I think he's going to go, and I think anybody. I do think De Gea will go. Mike D's made a contribution. He says 8th place in fantasy football. Blazian 93. Well done, pal. I haven't checked where I came. And what about Alexis Sanchez? A few people on about him. Thoughts on Tierney from Celtic, says Sandeep. We're not signing him. I think he's committed to Celtic, hasn't he? We did speak about him a few weeks ago. Silverblade says James Rodriguez or Pereira. I think Pereira can be better than Rodriguez, to be honest. He's 3 or 4 years younger than him for a start, and he deserves a shout. I would say that Rodriguez was better than Pereira at his age, but Rodriguez has sort of stagnated a bit, and he needs to get back to what he was. I'm hot tonight. Jose is a joyless guy, says Abdullah. Why shall we not use Griezmann money to get Aubameyang, says Abia98. I don't know why we're not in for Aubameyang. He's absolutely the number one. Certainly, he should be one of the top choices if you've got to replace Zlatan, which we know we have. I don't know why. I don't know why not. I'll read that out. Incendiary KG says, Mark, love to see your hair swept over on the other side for your next live show. Just to throw us. I don't know whether I can do it. I'll have to try it. Mahrez at the right place. No, I don't like Mahrez. There's just something about him I just don't like. But I can understand why people do like him. Damien Gasson says you can't judge a player on one game. Yeah, I think I sort of said that. And what do you think about Diego Costa? Mourinho doesn't like him, so he'd never come to United. What is your opinion on Rob? No. I can't. I've been looking for this question that I'm meant to be asking, and the person's not putting it up there, Mad Marcus, or I'm just totally missing it. So, look, you know, it's very hard and very unfair to just take individual people's questions. If you get spotted, you get spotted. But the live comments is fantastic, as I always say, and a lot of it is about interacting with yourselves as well on the live comments. So, look, if I don't get your comment, you can see how quick they're going by. Atisham Malik says, Mark, what are your thoughts on Chicharito if he returns? Well, if we get Hernandez back, I think if we had Hernandez back last year, we would probably be in the top 4, because you think about the amount of games you'd have brought him on at 70 minutes instead of Rooney, and those chances, he'd put them away. That's what Hernandez does, and we did miss that last season. He's never a starter. He's not a first-team player for Manchester United. That's why, well, he was never a starter for Manchester United when we had him in the first place, but as a if when your striker's injured or you're bringing him on in the second half, he's absolutely perfect at that. You'd probably get him back for about 12 million as well. So, I'd be very happy to have him back. Very happy. But as long as he's not the first team striker, I would have him back. I would have him back, yeah. Coden thinks we go for Lukaku. Jay Carlos says, do you rate Douglas Costa? Yes, I do. He's very, very good. And he's a winner. I think he's won a title in his last 4 seasons in Russia and in obviously for Bayern Munich. So that winning mentality is very important. I mean, that was the one thing I can't defend Griezmann on, is that he doesn't have a winning mentality. He's not used to winning things, and people can say that doesn't matter, but it does. Sir Alex Ferguson always used to say it. Teams can start the season off very well, and Spurs and Arsenal are the prime example of this over the last few years. Teams can start the season, and Liverpool. They play like Barcelona. They play like Barcelona of a few years ago, the first few weeks of the season, beating teams 3 or 4-0, and everyone goes they're going to win the league. But then after Christmas, it's all about the hard yards. Every step is an effort to get over the line to win a title. You've got to grind out. And Sir Alex Ferguson was obviously the master of it. And he always used to say, look, teams who used to bomb off at the start of the season never used to worry me, because unless they'd won a title, I know that towards the end of the season, they're going to fall away, they're going to drop silly points, and that's when my experienced winners will know what to do, and they'll start to pull them in. And there were occasions where it didn't work out like that because we stumbled ourselves, but 9 times out of 10 it did. And players who've got that winning mentality, unfortunately, over those players that haven't, they have an advantage because they've experienced it. They know the pitfalls, they know how to win, and you can buy it. Obviously, it costs a little bit more most of the time, but yeah, that Costa lad at Bayern Munich, a good shout. Belotti, says Mohammed Hussein. I like Belotti a lot, but I just don't think we'll get him. I don't think Mourinho will want to spend 80 million on a player that's had one very good season in Serie A. I would do it. I have seen him play probably about between 5 and 10 times this season, and he is a good player. And I would spend it because I don't really care how much we spend on people, because as I've said before, Manchester United have got loads of money, and I'm not one of those who thinks, oh, it's too much. Look, that 80 million we'd spend on Belletti, you can guarantee the Glazers are getting 4 or 5 times that this year. So I would rather the money was put into the club. I just don't think we will do it. I don't think we will. Mohamed Salah, Liverpool are signing. I don't want him. He's never even been on my radar. So just because Liverpool are signing him, why are we talking about him? I don't want him. KSI Mark, for your second channel, can you do a career mode with Manchester United with 4 of your dream signings? I already am. And I have got 4 good signings in my career mode on my channel. So go give it a watch. We're about halfway through the second season, so you've got loads to catch up on. Somebody's just asked me to do something in relation to Twitter, which I'm more than happy to do for you. So let me have a look. Oh, it's about Morata. So Morata has basically said after the game, I don't know if I'll stay now. I just want to celebrate. Well, that's from Dimarzio, who is very, very good. But we pretty much knew that he was probably going to leave Manchester United anyway. Sorry, Real Madrid anyway. It just seems to be that there's a lot of interest in Morata from Manchester United. And I think he probably isn't the one I would have gone for. But if we get him, I certainly wouldn't be... I wouldn't be disappointed. I wouldn't be disappointed if we went and signed him, if I'm honest. I think he's a decent player. And you can't spend 80 million on every single player. But what I would say, if we sign Morata, we do need to go and sign somebody who's playing in the number 10 position very, very differently. Jason said, is Bale more or less likely to move on after winning the Champions League tonight? But he's won it a couple of times. He's won everything, hasn't he, in Spain? I mean, to carry on there, he's never won the Premier League. If he's got an attraction to, if he feels like the Premier League is his home, then he might want to move on because he's done everything for Real Madrid. I mean, nobody's ever considered that, have they? Nobody's considered the fact that maybe Bale wants to move on. Maybe Bale's done everything he wanted to do at Real Madrid. I mean, he's not Spanish, is he? We all go on about how De Gea wants to go back to Madrid because it's where he's from, and Ronaldo wanted to go to Madrid because it was his boyhood club and he wants to live in the climate that he sort of grew up with. But has anyone ever considered that Gareth Bale might want to come back to Britain because that's where he's from, and he wants to win the Premier League? We never think of it like that. Nobody ever thinks of it like that. They just think, oh, why would he want to leave Real Madrid? Well, maybe he wants to leave them himself. Maybe he went to Real Madrid to win the best things in the world and prove he could do it for a few years, and then he wants to come back to England. Maybe he does. Antec says getting Morata and Bale would be stellar. Morata for money, Bale for De Gea. And thanks for the contribution, pal. Yeah, look. I think if we're going to do any business with Real Madrid, we're going to lose De Gea. That's what will happen. If we decide to do any business with Real Madrid, and I'll throw that to you lot, if we decide we're going to do any business with Real Madrid, then we will lose De Gea because Madrid want De Gea. So you can't go to Madrid and say, we'd quite like Morata, please, and we'd like Bale, but we're not going to let you have De Gea. And Madrid aren't going to go, yeah, that's fine, there you go, you can have him at a decent price. They're going to go, yeah, you can have both, but we want De Gea. And it's like what Jason said before, do you just think, well, we're going to lose De Gea at some point because he does want to go back to Spain, he's not going to stay here till he's 40. Do we do it now and get a couple of players that we actually would benefit from in the outfield and get a good keeper in behind? That's for each of you to decide, isn't it? Hank says James Rodriguez would be perfect for us. He would bring everything we're missing. He's a good player. Juventus and Madrid fans both rate Morata very highly. This is Tommy Herald. Very good point from Tommy there. I said this the other night. You speak to Juventus fans and Madrid fans about Morata, and all these United fans who are going, not good enough, don't want him, you get put in your box because he is spoken about very, very highly by the fans of those clubs where he's played, and yet apparently he's not good enough for Manchester United. Give him a chance. Give him a chance. Despite having many young, exciting prospects in defence, would you sign Sanchez from Ajax, as Brad Gamester? I don't think we're going to be signing anybody from Ajax after that final performance, because I think it really emphasised that as good as Ajax have been, when they came up against a decent side, they weren't that good. And the Dutch league's not that good, and I think we need better than risks this summer. We really should be looking for players that Mourinho is confident are going to come in, be better than what we've got, and help us go to that next level. We finished 6th in the Premier League last year. I know we won 2 trophies and one of them got us back in the Champions League, which is absolutely fantastic, but we have got a massive amount of improvement to make. People have got to go out the door and good quality's got to come in the door, and I don't think we really don't need to drop ourselves into this sense of false security because we won the Europa League that we don't really need much more. We finished 6th in the Premier League and we deserve to finish there. We do need to make changes, and they need to be good. Gareth Payne says Lacazette will happen and he'll be a success in the Premier League. From what I'm hearing today, Lacazette won't happen, so if you're getting your hopes up about that, I mean, nothing's set in stone, but apparently Lacazette is not going to happen, and that is just paper talk reacting to Griezmann, because Atletico Madrid were going to get Lacazette, we were going to get Griezmann, and apparently it's just lazy papers putting 2 and 2 together. Well, they can't have Lacazette now, so Manchester United will go for him. If we wanted Lacazette in the first place, we would have just bloody got him, let's be honest. So why would we go from Griezmann to Lacazette? It never made any sense. Should we go for Dybala instead of Griezmann? I like Dybala, but I can't see it happening. Okay, apparently there has been something happening on London Bridge in Westminster. God, I hate being live for this sort of thing, but let me just have a quick check, because I don't really want to be talking about football if we've had another one of those things happen. So we've got van hits pedestrians on London Bridge in major incident. Police are responding to reports of van has hit pedestrians on London Bridge in central London. Okay. Right, well, sort of ends the straight. I mean, it was coming towards the end anyway, but we will be live tomorrow for the watch along. Obviously, 2 o'clock, 2:30 kickoff for Carrick's game against the All Stars. It's a sad world, isn't it? It's a sad world. When will it stop, and how will it stop? I don't want to get political on it, but I just think I just feel that what's going to happen? More hashtag pray for London, more vigils, more singing songs. At some point, you've got to change, haven't you? And some people would go one way and say we need to talk to these people and be like really liberal about it, and some people will go, no, we need to be way more hardline on what's happening in our country and around Europe, and rooting this out and sending it off to wherever it came from, or just kicking it out of our country. Something's got to change, because it only happened 2 weeks ago in Manchester. Kids blown up, and then you've got the same thing that happened in Westminster a couple of months ago happening again. It's ridiculously hard to stop for our security services, but it just brings the mood down, doesn't it? Anyway, I'm sure we're all going to go off and watch and see what's happened, and we'll get on the hashtags and stuff, which I'm not knocking, of course. It's great that everybody comes together, but ultimately, what is that achieving? I think there needs to be. I think you can blame governments and stuff, but us as people need to collectively decide what we want. What do we want to be liberal and really airy fairy and say, oh, it's not, or do you want to be hardline and sort of go hardline? I don't know what the answer is, but it's it can't go on like this. It can't go on like this. Something needs to be done about it. Innocent people are getting killed, and it's just not right, is it? I'm not going to talk about football anymore. I'm going to get off. Thanks everybody. Stay safe. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, obviously, and like the video. But ultimately, what a shame to have that on air. But this is real life, isn't it? We'll be back tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Like I say, God with you, and stay safe. And I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.